Hey everyone, thanks for watching Make Me Smart on YouTube. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button because then we can count you and it makes us look good. And also, you'll know whenever we post a new video. Thanks.
All right. Boom. It's all good. 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 It's perfect.
It's all good. I don't know. That was my Kai impression.
I don't know. If that's what I sound like, I'm going to have to
Maybe
get
it
a new
was
job.
not great. Maybe it was not a great impression. I don't know. Hello,
man.
everyone. It's Molly Wood. Welcome back to Make Me Smart Daily Edition, where I promise you we just opened our beers. Just now.
We did. Honest to goodness. Honest to goodness. I am drinking, as I think I was last week, Beechwood Breweries down in Huntington Beach, the Amalgamator Series. Excellent beer. Ms. Wood, what are you imbibing this afternoon?
I have a Coors Golden Banquet beer in the 1936 stubby bottle, and I've never been
You
happier.
go, girl. Oh, the bottle saves it. The bottle saves
bottle.
it. I'll
The
give it to
bottle's
you on
the
the
key.
bottle then. Yeah.
The
for
stubby
sure
bottle is the
That
best.
is for sure true.
Just
Yeah, for
delightful. It's, it's early in the day.
Yes. It is early in the day.
Mhm.
Anyway, by the way, I'm Kai.
But it is
it's
late
Happy
in the
Hour
week.
Fridays. Economics on Tap is what we like to call it. We've already done the beer intros. Were we live on
Yep.
YouTube? I would ask you what y'all are drinking. But, as you read this, as you see this, as you watch it, think of us. Think of us.
Yes. Have a beer in absentia or a Mexi Coke.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let us
So-
get to it, shall we? You want to go first? What do you have?
Let's. Oh, I think you
Okay.
should go first because in some ways we have the same thing.
Well, okay, so look, I almost didn't put this in there because, and by this, I mean the article in The Atlantic yesterday in which the President of the United States is quoted as saying, Americans who died in combat are losers and suckers, that he doesn't understand why people would join the military, that, all of those things that have been said before about what the president said. This is not new. And John McCain is a loser. That actually came out of his mouth. Anyway, I almost didn't put it in there because, pulling back the fourth wall there for a minute, we had a conversation with our new El Jefe, Bridget Bodner, who's in charge of this operation now. We had a meeting, a feedback meeting, a week, this week, in which we talked about things that we do well and things we don't, and, trying to improve the product. And one of the things that we all agreed on was that we are at our best when we stay in our lanes. And while everything touches on politics now, I think we agreed that when we get too political, we are, not necessarily providing service to our listeners and getting out of our lanes. But, and maybe this is just me, but I'm gonna throw it out there and I'm gonna see what you say. I'm gonna claim laneage in a couple of different things that aren't necessarily in our sweet spot of tech, economy, and culture. And one of those is military affairs, because as I've said before on this podcast, I'm a veteran, and you will have yours, and whatever it is. And this article and what it implies are really, really troubling. First of all, the article itself, that people close to the president, and if you read between the lines, you can figure out who told these stories about the president, would say this, that it is eminently believable because of his past conduct, and that denials are not credible because of his past conduct and those who speak for him in the White House and in government. But also what it does to, and this is the bigger point, what it does to people now actively serving. Because we have people who are dying in Afghanistan, in Iraq, like weekly. And the President of the United States not understanding the sacrifice that goes along with, yes, obviously the dying, but the mere service is really debilitating. And I cannot imagine being the parent of a soldier or airman or Navy or whatever, or being over there myself and having to process this. And I almost put it in yesterday and I didn't because of the lane thing. And then it just stayed on my mind, and I did because I'm claiming a lane. And I just read it, and, obviously the White House denies it. The president denies it. Fox News has confirmed parts of these stories, which tells you something. I think it's a bigger deal than anybody fundamentally realizes.
I think that is
That's what I
true.
got.
I think, I will tell you, this story hit my Twitter feed like a bomb yesterday. Like, there were a lot of things happening in the news yesterday, and this hit like a bomb. And I think it is because it is so fundamental to the commander-in-chief job. Like, it's just fundamental. And I think that's why people found, and look, I've got a cousin who did 3 tours in Iraq and a cousin who's in Guam right now with the Navy. And it was a hard thing to read and hear, for sure. Yep. And you always get the military affairs lane because, I mean, you're a veteran, but also, like, look, we can't ignore the discourse and the level of it that's happening in this country, because it is just going to get, if anything, it's part of why we all need to, like, get together and have a drink, because it's going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. And it's going to get more and more difficult. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And look, that's not a story that anybody could ignore, and it's not a story that anybody did. So I'm glad you put it in there.
So there we go.
Yep.
All right, what do you got?
Wow. Like, everything totally different.
Stuff.
It really is. So I have a thing I have been thinking about, and then a thing that was just breaking. I literally got a breaking news alert about this because we glanced by this yesterday, this idea that there have been promises that a coronavirus vaccine could be ready for testing on November 1st, a couple days before the election. And a friend and I were discussing yesterday how, like, terrifying it is that people would feel a lack of confidence in a vaccine, and that politics, which is attached to everything, would be attached to a vaccine. So I was pleased to see that moments ago, as I'm recording this, several drug makers, I'm reading from the Wall Street Journal, which is where I got the breaking news alert, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna, and potentially others, competing companies that are competing with each other to develop a vaccine for COVID-19, plan to issue apparently a public pledge not to seek government approval until the shots have proven to be safe and effective.
Oh, wow.
Basically saying,
that's
like,
huge, actually.
Listen, it's huge. They may, according to the Journal, issue the pledge as early as next week. The statement would join a growing number of public assurances by industry executives that they aren't cutting corners in their rapid testing and manufacturing of the vaccines.
Good.
Which I am grateful to see, because, I mean, it literally popped up on my phone as I was, like, hitting record on the video. So that is a big deal, because this is not something that can, for one thing, it's not something that should be rushed. That's, like, literally the plot line of I Am Legend. You turn everybody into zombies. But also, it is not something that can come out and have people, other than the usual people, not have confidence in it. Because if people don't take it, it's a disaster. So I thought that was a big deal. And then, separate from everything, just on the parenting conversation, like, we know there is an abundance of research about school start times and how it is better for kids if school could start later, but we make them start earlier because it's more convenient for our jobs and our bus stops and the whatever. And this was, like, the one golden opportunity that we were going to get to rethink school start times. And so I was super stoked because once an article popped up on Slate that was like, why, this is the headline, why does my kid's online school still start at 7:50 in the freaking morning?
Yeah, right? No, that's a serious question.
Yep. Like, here was this one thing that you really could have done for middle school and high school and for teachers with kids at home. And some schools did. Yeah. I think it really is school by school, and some of them did. In fact, my son's former middle school
Why didn't more schools
is starting at 10:30. But yeah, like, if you are also a teacher and you have a kid at home and you have to get your kid set up, but you have to start at 8:30, like, this was the big chance to actually even conduct, like, a great big real-time experiment in whether later start times really do
for sure.
help kids. Yeah. Yep. And there a lot of them are biffing it. Our school starts at 8:30 too, and I'm just like, man, come on. Like, for little ones, maybe it's fine. Like, have the elementary ones start early, but 7:50, that's brutal.
But dragging a high schooler out of bed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Or a middle schooler.
Yeah, it would have been a great natural experiment. What a good thought.
It's not because they're pains in the butts, right? Like, it's their little hormones telling them to stay up at night. It's their bodies trying to separate them from the herd so they can reproduce. Don't think about it too much if you're the parent of a teenager, but that's true. That's why they can't wake up in the morning.
Okay, la 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 la.
Science.
Yeah. So, yes. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I know. So I'm
Moving
just throwing
on.
that out there in
Moving
hopes
on.
that all the districts listen. All right, now I'm blushing. Let's move
Whoever's pushing the buttons, push the buttons. Holy cow.
on. I made myself uncomfortable.
Oh my goodness. All right. I, as you know, am a space geek, as are I think you, and also Kimberly Adams and maybe some others on the Marketplace staff. And I came across this article in Wired the other day, and I kind of love it. It's about an 80-year-old physicist at Cal State Fullerton who has spent his life, his entire 60-year academic career, working on a propulsion system for interstellar travel that does not involve propellant, right? Because the deal with rockets is they need lots and lots of gas to get where they need to go. And that, of course, makes them heavier to lift off, and it's a real big problem. So this guy, it is unbelievable. I love this article. It's in Wired. We're going to put it on the nose page. His name is Jim Woodward, and he has spent his life working on something called Mach effect gravitational assist drive. It is a propulsion system, Wire says, designed to produce thrust without propellant. And it has to do with these piezoelectric discs generating small amounts of thrust. And if you get enough of them lined up, they will create thrust. And then if you get them out into space, you get a bunch of them and they're solar powered or nuclear powered, and they can keep adding this incremental thrust in small movements. But if you get a lot of them over a long period of time, you could conceivably get to a faraway galaxy or star in decades instead of thousands of years, which puts it within the lifespan of human travelers, which I think is super cool. This also is probably a good point for me to interject that I really love the film Interstellar, and I need to watch it again, but I don't understand the math and the physics behind it. But anyway, that's what this made me think of, and I just think it's super cool. That's it.
It is.
That's what I got.
It is awesome.
It was super cool. Yeah.
Also, it's called Mega. It's the Mega Drive.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
I love it. For anybody who is contemplating Operation Get Us Off This Rock, this is a pretty cool read.
It's super fun. And he just looks like such a little guy. He's like an 80-year-old physics professor. He's had cancer and this and that, but he's got a home studio or a home lab and all kinds of stuff.
That is amazing.
Anyway.
Aww.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have two things. First, one, I forgot to do this a minute ago, and I want to because I want to be correct. Apparently, so yesterday I told you about that Penn State director of athletic medicine who said that approximately a third of the Big Ten athletes who had tested positive for COVID-19 appeared to have this heart inflammation.
Yep.
Penn State Health later clarified that was a verbal share by Dr. Wayne Sebastianelli, but that it was actually published. The research was published at a lower rate of 15%. And that when this particular doctor said that, he was unaware of this lower rate where they published the research. He said 30 to 35. The research says it's more like 15. Penn State Health clarified that. But you got to assume. That's your GoPro dying again.
I know, right? But the bigger point is this, right? This disease has impact and manifestations beyond what we know. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but
we're
I
going to be
do want to
dealing
be
with the long
specific
tail of it for a very long time.
That's on Twitter, but we definitely are. And if at some point there was some reason he thought it, yes, we are. Did you hear that The Rock and his whole family had it?
I know. Did you see his video?
Yeah. I did.
It
takes a well, I have loved The Rock for years, but man, is The Rock all about The Rock. So it takes a minute to get into the video. You got to get through your usual The Rock talking about the tough times he's gone through and the whatever. But you can.
Oh my God, that's so true. That is so true.
It's a little
but
it's
that's why
a
he's
little
The
much,
Rock, right? Yeah.
But that's why he's The Rock. He's starting to read his own press. But you can hear in his voice that he's still sick. That he he still sounds a little bit sick, and it's clear, even though he doesn't go into details, that he and his wife got it pretty bad, and even their daughters, were sick, had sore throats, were ill.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, so with all that said, let's get to the actual Make Me Smile, which is one of those it's messed up, but it's real funny. And it comes to me via Kimberly Adams, who finds all the good things on the internet. And guess what? I believe that the great and terrible Charlton, the man behind the curtain, has the audio to play. It is a TikTok. I'm going to set it up. There it goes.
Oh, here it comes.
It is, sorry. Yes, it is commercials. It's a TikTok of commercials responding to increasingly dire circumstances. Hit it.
Okay.
The stock market might be down, like way down, but deals at Rims to Go are up. As the U.S. becomes a dictatorship, Subway is here for you. That's right, we're bringing back the $5 footlong. No health insurance? No problem. Try one of Wendy's new salads. That man may have COVID, but you know what he doesn't have? Dandruff. At Head & Shoulders, did your president call Marines who died in World War I losers? Come on down to Abercrombie & Fitch. Have you been injured by police at a peaceful protest? Advil has your back. Kids home from school because another 50 students tested positive for COVID? Bring them to the McDonald's drive-thru for a meal. Legally, we can't call them Happy Meals anymore. Shit is weird right now. And that's why at Buick, is your spouse a little too intrigued by QAnon? Log on to eHarmony today. The Russians may be meddling with the election, but your boyfriend says he's done meddling with your heart. At K Jewelers,
I mean, the kids these days.
Oh, man.
It's literally like a comi-tragic tour through
good.
all of our topics. Loved it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Don't take our TikTok away.
No.
Come on.
No, they won't.
2020
they'll
has
figure it
taken
out.
too much.
Everybody wants it to work out. Everybody wants it to work out. Speaking of QAnon, by the way, we're doing that on Tuesday, so let's just re-up that bleg if we could, right? If you have questions about QAnon, tell us. If you have personal experience with QAnon, tell us that too. If you feel like sharing, it's makemesmart@marketplace.org. Hook us up, and we're gonna. I personally will learn a whole bunch on Tuesday. I'm gonna tell you that when we talk about this.
Yep.
For sure.
And just so you know, we will not be here on Monday. So we will see you then. And have a wonderful long weekend. All of those who get a long weekend.
Yes.
You have
And
deserved
those of you who are working,
You've
thank
earned
you.
it and you
We
deserve it.
appreciate that. Yeah. Rose Conlon produced and directed today. Tony Wagner does digital producing. Ben Heathcote, who's off today, actually. Don't know where he is. He's off. Produces video with the help of our video intern, Ethan Parrots. He's doing everything today. Erica Phillips writes our newsletter. Also, those skills on our smart speaker. What?
He's crushing it. He's crushing it. Ben Heathcote
He
bolted.
is. Man's an
Ethan
intern.
is
He's
in
doing the
charge.
job. Come on.
Today's program was engineered by Charlton Thorpe, who also crushed it. Our theme music was composed by Ben Tolliday and Daniel Ramirez. That was real live time producing, you guys. The senior producer
It was.
is Bridget Bodner, and the executive director of On Demand is Satara Nieves.
As far as we know. As far as we know. I'm just saying.
As far as we know.
I'm trying to smoke her out. That's,
Many
you know.
many people are saying she may or may not still work here.
Okay, I flipped over to the Slack. I'm watching the Slack, and nothing. Nothing.
I know,
Still
crickets.
nothing.
Yep.